Back with another episode of Black News 111.
Right.
Osei Kufuor, the Metaphysics Society Association. Here's our brother again, Kareem Milner, a.k.a. Kareem Universal,
Right.
and he's ready to go back in.
Right.
Our question for today is pertaining to religion. Now, brother, I want to know if the God in the Bible of Christianity is confused or not by its way of actions and manifestations.
Now, I'm gonna give you some history on that. When you look at the Bible and you break it down, as far as God being confused or not, you can say yes, because inside the Bible, I'm not sure what specific passage. I wish I had because this lines up with everything that I've been researching on.
Right.
It says that God is not the author of confusion. But then in another passage it says, I am the author of confusion.
Right.
So you see many different bipolar tendencies of God. Like first he says, I'm a merciful God, and then he says, I'm a jealous God.
Right.
That sounds a little confused to me.
Well,
it sounds like a schizophrenic, a
right.
bipolar individual.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, how can God be all merciful and all forgiving when you got a God who's putting curses on the wombs of women, killing the children before they even come into an existence?
Right.
What type of God is that?
That God within itself, because we got to understand what the Bible is doing. The Bible has taken away the woman's role from which she was in history.
That's right.
The woman was actually one of the first caretakers.
That's right.
And when you go to the funeral homes in ancient times, the women, they were taking the dead and bringing them into the next life.
Right.
The woman was the maiden, or the, you know what I'm saying, the one who brought life into this world. That's where you get the word maiden from.
Right.
So they took away the women's role, because when you look at many gods in history, every god when you look at in ancient Kemet has a feminine energy.
That's right.
Has a feminine perspective. Like you look at Heru, aka the Sphinx. I don't
Right.
call it the Sphinx because that's a European name. Heru, Ashur, Set, all these names have feminine meanings to them. And you look at in the Quran, look at Prophet Muhammad's first family name. It was Alat.
That's right.
The Alat, that's a feminine name. Abdullah. So when you look at that, even the prayer, Arishmu, Bishmal Rahim. Rahim, you look at the trilateral root of that word, Rahim, and it means the womb.
That's right, brother.
Take out your phones, Google, put Rahim beside the word womb, and you're going to get what it really is.
Right. Exactly.
They got these secrets that they hide, but they take away the role of what the woman is by taking away her confidence and making her insecure.
That's right.
So that God of the Bible and any other religious text that follow after it, any Abrahamic religion, it dehumanizes and it takes away the role of the woman and her significance in what this society is.
That's right,
This
brother.
woman is a society.
That's
she
right.
runs a society.
That's right. Now, another contradiction in the Bible. Now, when it comes to corporations today using Christianity under an imperialistic agenda,
Right.
They say that God needs your money. Now, I don't understand that. Can you expand on that more for me?
I'm going to expand on that because it's a passage that relates to that too in the Bible. It's a passage that says God is omnipotent and omnipresent. But there was a war that happened in the Bible, and they said God couldn't stop the chariots because the chariots were still.
Uh-oh.
If your God is so omnipotent and omniscient, why does he need money, and why can't he stop these things that are going on?
That's right.
You know, and then when you go into what money is, you really look at the significance of what the Bible was specifically put here for. It's a tool, it's a divisive tool. When they came to Egypt, they came with when they came to Africa, they came with a kit. It had a gun in it, it had chemicals in it to dilute the minds.
That's right.
And drug them. And they had what? A Bible in it.
Woo! There you go,
You know
brother.
what I'm saying? So this Bible is put in place to make sure that you're mentally incapacitated, because this book makes you insecure. So I see so many black people insecure because of what the Bible teaches, and it's subconscious. They don't even know it.
That's right. Now, brother, what is the metaphysics of Genesis? Because when you look at the word Genesis, you have two components of science.
Right.
And even the characters.
Right.
You have gene, when you take away the SIS off Genesis,
Right.
which a gene is something that you use to identify a particular characteristic of someone or something. The SIS is an acronym, or is a feminine energy of an atom. This is why they say Adam and Eve, because Eve represents energy, evolution. That's a takeoff of evolution.
Yes, it is.
Evolution. Then you have Adam, ATOM, which is synonymous to ADAM. Once evolution or energy falls into that atom, which is 99.99% space, it becomes a physical form of vibration.
Right.
Now, I need you to break down the science and metaphysics of Genesis.
All right. Before I do that, and I'm gonna do that too, because it's gonna tie into this. The first book of the Bible is not Genesis. It's Exodus.
There you go.
Because it was an oral tradition. So I need Christians and I need people who follow this doctrine to understand that the Jewish custom was oration. It's an oral tradition. Exodus is the first Bible. That's it's 3 or 4 creation stories in the beginning of Genesis. Now, when he went and he touched on DNA, he touched on a little bit of how chromosomes are designed too, because when you look at life itself, as far as the genetic structure. That story in Genesis is telling you that the African race, or the more melanated species, is not connected.
There you go.
To the white race. And I'm gonna tell you why. When you look at the rhesus monkey and the red blood cells of the rhesus monkey, you look at some called haplotypes, and you look at some called RH blood cells. Their blood cells is carbon based, and the rhesus monkey distinctively looks just like a white man. Just like, if you Google rhesus monkey, and you will see, and they did research to say that 30,000 years ago, this Neanderthal evolved out of a lineage of an animalistic state.
So basically, you're saying that they have a sulfur-based cell structure.
They have a sulfur base.
Right. Okay, well, now we know we can trace their DNA. When you study the primate, the chimpanzee, for an example, we know that you have primates that eat only plants.
Right.
Then you have primates that eat meat, cannibals, right? Now, when you study the genome of primates such as the chimpanzee, we know that their whole biochemical structure is identical to the European.
Right.
Correct? So can you expand on how there's a differentiation in the European and the African?
Again, when you go back to the rhesus monkey, in that 30,000 year limit, they actually went back and did research, and they did it through mitochondrial DNA, by the way, which is the female.
That's right.
Which is every man lineage is passed down from a female. It's passed down from a female. Her mitochondrial DNA is one of the only, they use that in rape kits and evidence and testing to exhume dead bodies. And the oldest body found on this planet was an African female. And guess how old it is? It's 4 million years old. It's older than your Bible. It's older than your Quran. But the white race and the black race, they're two separate races. And when I see people say those races are just alike, I have to say to myself, hold up, we're carbon-based beings.
Right.
We're carbon-based beings.
Right.
They said you evolved from monkeys and you the monkey. But in reality, they expand on what they really are.
Right. Well, to add on to that, how can we evolve from primates when it's not a fact in science? When you're dealing with particular or specific nucleuses and cells, because we have a different cell structure than they do, right? So how can an inferior being, how can we be evolved? How can something superior as ourselves be evolved from an inferior being? It just don't add up.
Right.
Not only that, but you said that they found bones over 4 million years old. So the chronology of Adam and Eve, and so-called scholars of religion say that Adam and Eve are only a little over 6,000 years old.
Right.
It don't add up.
And the book is, the Bible is 25,000 years old. I mean, 2,000 years old.
Right.
So it's a young book, and the Quran is younger than that.
That's right.
So when you look at that, how could you get an existence of life from something that's a baby?
That's right.
It's a baby. Melanin is older than all that.
That's right.
If you look at the way it's made in the molecular structure, it's way older than that. So I need people to actually understand when you read these stories, when you go into Genesis and you look at the context of it, it's giving you a description of how you were here metaphysically.
Right.
Not as far as Adam's rib.
Right.
You know, because a man can't give rib to a woman. He can't do that. If every man got a navel, that means you was connected to a life force.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You out here sucking this woman energy, and you got the nerve to step away from her and say, I created you?
Right. That's
It's
what I'm talking
chauvinistic.
about.
That's the chauvinism. That is the, we see that.
So basically it went from a matriarchal society into a patriarchal society.
Absolutely.
Now, the DNA part, so what you're saying is metaphysically our DNA is in the Bible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so basically when you're talking about the electrons, the protons, and the neutrons, a certain amount of it, when inserted into the carbon, creates the number 6 and 6 in all of the electrical spectrums.
Right.
So therefore that comes up with the black species or the melanated species, right? Now I want you to touch on the Jews in the Bible and Revelation when they say, watch for those who say they are Jews, but they are not, but they are a synagogue of Satan. Are we real Jews, or can Europeans be Jews?
And when you look at that word, Jew, I want you to understand that the Jews, within their organization, because many say there's Hellenistic Jews and there's Messianic Jews.
Okay.
Well, Messianic Jews, they believe in the Messiah. Hellenistic Jews, of course, they believe, many of the Hebrew Israelites, they say they are the descendants from Abraham, and they are the true inhabitants of Israel. That's their land.
Right.
So you have blacks in America claiming that, and you have Europeans claiming that.
Right.
My thing is this: Jewish people, within context, is not a race.
That's right.
It's not a race. And people say, well, if you're Semitic, that means you're of Jewish descent. No, Semitic means African.
That's right.
Semitic means African.
He got y'all.
So when you look at the Jewish lineage and that land, because you know the Nile is one of the oldest lands in existence. The river runs right through that.
Right.
So it was already people there. They looked at their culture, they internalized their symbols. Because the Star of David, when you go back and do that and trace that, you see life within that also.
Well, not only that, but the word Jew comes back 5,000 years ago when Muslims go and pray to the black stone in the east, which is the eastern star of female energy, right? That stone they used to call what? Jew.
Right.
Jew. Jew. So when you say you a Jew, you giving honor and reverence to a black woman. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know that science, but go ahead, brother.
Right, and with that being said, like I said before, within Jewish culture, you see many different customs that are questionable. Like, my thing is this, the word Elohim, for example. The word Elohim is used 2,000 times in the Bible, in the Old Testament, before the word God is even mentioned. So what is Elohim? Because we know that Elohim is a singular word, but it has plural construction.
There you go.
Plural meaning many, meaning more than one. So are they talking about many gods? How many gods? And then in the Quran you have Elohim, which is a feminine word. So you begin to really question these things, and all these things stem from one source. They copied the coffin text, the Peta Haru, the Sinai script. That's right off the walls of ancient Kemet. And you got to do me something for anybody who actually believes there's validity in the Bible, because you know when you go back to ancient Kemet, you can see the cartouches. You can see them marking in the cartouches of the kings that was there, and the queens that was there, and the people that inhabit that land that was there, the sultans. Then when you go to Greece, which many of the Hellenistic Jews were, quote unquote Hellenistic Jews were in Greece, because they tried to out-Greek the Greeks, but the Greeks were trying to be Egyptian.
There you go.
So when you go to Greece and you see their cartouches, it's blank.
Ooh,
You know why it's blank? Because they have no culture. Europa, mythos, mythology.
Right. Well, another question is too, brother, and you killing it. This is my brother right here, the Metaphysics Society Association. We'll put a whooping on y'all asses here. Now, another question here, brother. Now, when you die, there is archaeological and anthropological evidence to have proof for later history, right? Or later on generations to come to prove that you existed, or tombs. Why isn't there a tomb or any type of archaeological or anthropological evidence for Abraham, for Jesus, for Moses, and etc.?
They never existed.
No.
They never existed. I tell people this: if Abraham is the author of the Bible, and I got some more questions pertaining to that. You telling me this man carries 613 commandments from a fucking mountain?
You talking about Moses, right?
Moses.
Okay.
My bad.
Right.
Moses
That's
carried 613 commandments from a fucking mountain? Really? All that in his hand and nothing happened? Like, you got to question these things.
But where do the commandments come from?
The commandments
Was it just 10 commandments?
No, absolutely not. It was more than 10 commandments.
Come on, what you say, Queen?
Come on over here, Queen. Are you okay? Okay.
Negative confessions? No.
Yeah, it was 42 laws of Ma'at.
Okay.
They got that from the 42 laws of Ma'at.
Okay, well,
have you not homed your brother? Have you not stolen from your brother? You know, all these things originate from ancient Kemet. And there's many different stories they take and mix into the Bible, many different religious texts. But you got to understand, most of it was influenced by Kemetic culture.
Right.
Like I said earlier in one of the videos, you look at the Epics of Gilgamesh, a Mesopotamian story.
Right.
You can see that. People say, well, every culture had a similar disaster, so the only way to get stories out was through oration. But my thing is, in Kemetic culture, every god is spoken for. You can go to the tombs and see Osiris or Shah. I'm going to say that because I don't like using Osiris. There's a body. There's the bodies. It's like, you know, they have the bodies there. Like, where are they gods? Where are they deities? Where's the anthropomorphized culture within their text? I don't see it. All
right, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we're about to close out. And before I leave, I know we had a little bit of interruption, but this is one of the queens here in Lynchburg who has a lot of knowledge, too. I just want her to come and just say hello. She don't have to say nothing. Just step in on the camera so they can see you and say hello. This is one of the queens here. All right. Mayat. Hotep, queen. Good to see you. And you're going to be seeing her on camera soon. So without further ado, this is Black Science TV 111, the Metaphysics Society Association, Lynchburg, Virginia, and we're out.
Let's get out of here.